Okay, good morning, Ambassador. We are talking with Mark Gitenstein, former U.S. Ambassador in Romania. In a common letter signed by 7 former U.S. ambassadors, you encourage Romanians to vote, warning we will have to choose between Russia and the U.S. Please elaborate.
Well, this letter is signed by 7 Americans who have deep commitment to Romania and to the relationship between Romania and the United States. And we have a deep affection for Romania. Many of us have spent years and years and years and much of our reputations committed to that relationship. And we are concerned about the direction that this election could take us. Now, to be clear, we do not represent the U.S. government any longer, and we are not advocating that the U.S. government intervene in this election. We are advocating that the Romanian people themselves decide their future and that they choose the Western approach that we have been pursuing for the last 40 years. So, as Americans, we want to see the basic approach that's been pursued since the Clinton administration for a Western pro-rule of law, pro-democracy, pro-free markets approach is the best approach for Romania after the tragedy of the Ceausescu regime. In 1989 and 90, when Ceausescu was taken out of power, people were starving in Romania. 1,000 young Romanians gave their lives to change the direction of the government because they didn't want the Russian-style approach, which Romania had been pursuing for 40 years. And we were welcomed with open arms. And I think in their hearts, most Romanians still to this day, that's been my experience, want to continue in that approach. And, right now, Russia is on a roll, you might say. They think that they can end the Ukrainian war on their terms. I think they believe they can turn Romania into a proxy for them in the EU and NATO, which would do severe damage not only to those institutions, but in particular to Romania's role as a critical member of the European community. First of all, you enjoy the nuclear umbrella of NATO and the protection of NATO, which you did not have for 50 years, or for the 40 years of the communist period. And you've seen significant economic growth and change and reform in Romania since 1990. And we want to continue that. Now, that's not to say there have been disappointments. As is the case with every Central and Eastern European country, there is frustration with the existing government regimes because the problems of healthcare, of education, of rule of law in particular, anti-corruption, are still not accomplished. But I think the best way to get there is through the approach we have been taking. And I think Nicușor Dan is the best person to take Romania in that direction.
Some could consider the letter as a interference in the Romanian elections. How would you answer to that?
As I said a few minutes ago, we are 7 Americans who are deeply committed to the alliance and have a deep passion for Romania and its success. We do not any longer represent the U.S. government. We are private citizens. 2 of us have deep Romanian ancestral roots, myself and Adrian Zuckerman. And just like any other Romanian American, we have every right to speak out on this issue. We're not interfering with the Romanian government. We're advocating to the Romanian people to use their power in the ballot box to continue on the same path.
The extremist party Our and George Simeon claimed that Romania is being kicked off the visa waiver program is caused by the annulment of election last year. And Simeon, more than that, thanked the Trump administration for sanctioning Romania. Please comment on that, Mr.
I have no idea why the government of the Trump administration changed directions on this. I think it's a profound mistake. Romania has met the statutory requirements to join a visa waiver. Every one of us, I think, on this call, on this letter, have advocated that for years. I know I have. And I think the just exiting U.S. Ambassador Kathy Kovalik deserves credit for getting it done. I just don't understand why they're changing directions. I have no idea what their explanation is. I have not seen an explanation for why they canceled visa waiver.
How will Romania's position as a NATO member will be influenced by an extremist becoming president? How will the alliance be impacted by such a scenario?
How will the U.S.-Romania alliance be affected?
Right.
Well, it'll be a matter of profound disappointment. It will create tremendous uncertainty, especially in the security space where, when I was U.S. ambassador to Romania, I first of all had the privilege of going to Afghanistan 3 times to visit our troops, and I realized what a stalwart ally Romania was to the United States. And I also saw how American companies and American investors wanted to invest more in Romania because Romania was part of the EU. So being part of NATO was a reassurance to Americans and American investors that Romania was on a Western path, which made it safe to make significant investments in Romania. And it was a reassurance to the American military that in the southeast flank of NATO, we had an ally who was totally reliable and predictable. This will throw everything into a cocked hat if Nicușor is not elected and the current pro-NATO, pro-EU approach is not continued.
And here is my last question, Ambassador. According to polls, there are still a lot of undecided electors, and Nicușor himself has plenty of critics among them. Not everybody considers him as the right option for Romania. What do you say to these people?
You are choosing a new leader in Romania. You're conducting a job interview, for a new leader. You have one person who is Eurosceptic, NATO skeptic, is PNG, not allowed to even go into 2 neighboring countries, Ukraine and Moldova, is a conspiracy advocate on COVID, wants to attack the press on the one hand, has very little governing experience, by the way. On the other hand, you have the current mayor of Bucharest, the largest city in Romania, in his second term, largely successful, having brought the city out of bankruptcy, having rebuilt the transportation system, including buying 350 new buses, beginning to rebuild the heating system, which anybody knows anything about the way Romanian cities operate, they mostly run the heating systems for residences throughout Bucharest, for example. So you have a very competent manager of government policy who knows how to make things happen. Now, there are deep dissatisfactions in Romania, as I said, as there is in the rest of Central and Eastern Europe, over the direction of very important government policies, from healthcare to education, to free market regulation, to rule of law and anti-corruption. Here, and we have here a mayor and a leader who who is free of any allegations of corruption, and who knows how to make the government work to achieve the goals of Romanian citizens. It's not even a close choice.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for this interview.